Pass the bucket.
So let's look at some gameplay of the Inquisition deck, and while it seems all great in paper, let's see how it actually plays out, and is it actually effective? Now, of course, I'm only in a friendly game because I'm doing a recording, and there's a lot going on. I don't want to worry about the whole rank anxiety right now. So let's go ahead and talk about the mulligans. We have our Sunblessed Priest, our Relic Guard, our Shadowstep Assassinate, our Shadowstep Assassin, Assassinate, a Path of Transcendence, and these are all great starting creatures. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of shrines. However, I am keeping this because having all these starting creatures on our hand is fairly rare, and that's really great. It gives us a lot of options. We can use Cathedral of the Night as a Dominion level if we need to in order to get our Shadowstep Assassin out. Instead, we will not. We are going to drop our Relic Guard. Now, keep in mind, we have a Spark as well. Now, the Spark of Initiative is a well, at this point in time, and the time of this recording, it's a new thing. It's there to equalize the first player advantage, and because we're going up against a highly aggressive deck, the Red Rush deck, this Spark is really going to come into play. And okay, so what's going on here? We just got a Fireball to the face to the Relic Guard, of course. Pretty standard for the Red Rush deck. That's fine. All we need to do is bide time. Bide time. So what's going to happen is I'm going to Cathedral of the Night so I can get that spell out, and then I'm going to Sunblessed Priest. Now this is probably going to trade straight up. Hopefully he doesn't have another Fireball. And we're going to be able to, well, we're going to have to search for a shrine, and then we're going to put down our Shadowstep Assassin, or we're going to do an Assassinate. This deck is a little bit slow to start a lot of times, and there's a lot going on. It's not the most consistent deck out there. It's fun as hell to play, I'll give you that. But it's just sometimes things move a little slowly. For example, right now we're looking for, you're really struggling to maintain board control as soon as possible while having both aspect levels going. You need one Dominion, you need one Order to start off with, and then you can play most of the deck. That's not happening right now. So we're going to have to fish. Oh, there it is. There's the Dominion Shrine. Much, much better. Okay, so we're going to Dominion. And we've got a few different options here. I'm actually going to sacrifice my Sunblessed Priest and use, well, let's see, do we want to use the Spark now? Let's hold off on the Spark. We don't have the Sell to Slavery skill yet, so we can't rally the peasants and sack that for a card. So let's get rid of 2 by using our Vampiric Touch, removing that, going back up to 20. We're going to kill the Lizard Man, or the Lizard Barbarian. So we're going to trade out here, but we're going to get 2 more health, and he's down to 1 creature on the board. We're up to 22 health, so this is really what the deck is designed to do early game, is just stave off the rush for as long as possible until we can establish everything we need to on our board. Basically, our priests and our angels, get them out, start working on that 40 life win condition. That's not to say you can't beat your opponent down from 20 to 0, but about half the time you're looking at that life gain win condition. So we got some goblins going on and some swift. You've probably seen this deck before. It's fairly common. It's fairly efficient. We're just going to have to be patient and bide our time. We can definitely assassinate next turn. The Firebrand Goblin is a great target for that because we don't want any other goblins like Gibo and Roni getting played and then they're all of a sudden having swift. We don't need a 3rd level requirement. This meets most of the cards in our deck, so let's go ahead and start cycling cards. We're going to assassinate unless there's an easier way to do this. No. Let's go ahead and assassinate this. We have 2 mana left, so let's go ahead and bump it up. And I think I'm going to use my Sunblessed Priest over the Shadowstep Assassin. Either way, it's a straight up 1-for-1 trade with this particular goblin. This way, at least, I can potentially get 2 life, or I can get Fireballed. Well, you can't fault Red for using what they got. In 2 turns, our Vampiric Touch will cool down in 1 turn now. And Still Life is now in our hand, so remember, we can pull any level 2. We can pull back a Relic Guard or one of the or both of the Sunblessed Priests as well. So it's not always a dire loss when you lose some of these creatures. As long as it costs 2 or less, you can pull it out later with Still Life. We do not have a shrine, however. We need our Shadowstep Assassin to go away because we have 3 of them. There's an Order Shrine. Really looking for that that card draw mechanic. It's kind of hurting us not having it in our hand. Let's go ahead and cycle. And there's the Stronghold Metropolis. That's what we're looking for card draw. So what we're going to do is he's got 2 cards in hand. So we got to pay attention. He's only got 2 cards in hand, so he's running out. We have to use our life as a resource. He can only do 4 damage. We're at 16 right now. I'm going to Path of Transcendence, and I'm going to Shadow Step Assassin. What I'm going to do is actually pass and then bounce the Shadow Step Assassin under the Path of Transcendence because it's going to come back as a 2/3, which means it's deadly and it no longer trades out straight 1-for-1 with a Goblin Warrior. So we can actually use it to kill these and not lose our Shadow Step Assassin. Boiling Blood comes out. Well, we may lose a Shadow Step Assassin to Boiling Blood now. And, okay, so we're going to take 6. We're going to be down to 10. Like I said, your life is a resource. You have to use it as much as possible. We're a little bit low right now, so we have to be cautious of that. What's going to happen is we're going to Stronghold here. Now, we have our Vampiric Touch, so that allows us to remove this 4/1. We can Assassinate, kill that. We can take our Shadow Step Assassin, clear his board, and that's all we can do for right now. We've only got 1 mana left. If we wanted to, we could... I'm going to bounce it just because it could potentially be targeted by a fireball. So we'll remove it from the board. Unless he's got artifact removal. Excuse me, this is the spell. So actually his Firebrand Goblin is not going to work for artifact removal. So he's going to have a hard time removing this at all if it's a mono red. Okay, Lizard Man dies. So why don't we show you the card draw mechanic, since that's where we're going to be. So you use your militia, your token, and then you, for 0 mana, sell it to Slavery, thus allowing you to draw a card. Now, we have our second Stronghold Metropolis. Since we already have that skill, we might as well play it as a second level. However, we don't need that level yet. So until we have a need for that second Dominion level, let's not play it that way. And we have another option. Why don't we Order Shrine, thus allowing us to instill life, and we get 2 creatures back, Relic Guard and a Sunblessed Priest. I like the Relic Guard because it's going to stop most of the goblins. This is going to kill our lizard straight up, and what we're going to do is... Let's see, he's got 1 card in his hand, so what's it going to be? We've effectively stalled the rush deck now, and we don't have a strong board presence. We don't have a win condition yet, per se. There's a Fire Blast, okay, that takes care of the Shadow Step Assassin, but we've got another one. He's top decking at this point, which is really good. That's what you want. Okay, again, no need for a second Dominion level yet, so let's cycle. Antriel gives us the reason to play our Stronghold Metropolis as a 4th level. So let's Shadow Step Assassin. Might as well go ahead and push this in. And then we're going to bounce the Sunblessed Priest under the Path of Transcendence, making it a 3/3. It can still be removed with a Fireball, but if it's not, if he doesn't have a Fireball in hand because he's top decking, we can push in 3 damage and get 3 life back a little bit faster than 2 on 2. Okay, so there it is. There's the Goblin Fireworker. However, that cannot remove this. This is not an artifact. The Goblin Fireworker is artifact only. So we've got our 4th level, and we have both Antriels in hand. That's kind of interesting. Instead of removing this with... so Vampiric Touch isn't going to remove it. I can reduce it down to 1, but we can kill it straight out with the Sunblessed Priest. So I'm going to cycle cards here. Giving myself a Dominion Shrine. That's good, actually. So we don't have to Divine Offering our Antriel, and if for some reason something happens to Antriel, now we have another one. Not going to attack with this. Going to attack with this instead. Going to remove the Fireworker. Assassin's going to go in for 1, but now we're starting to develop our board, and we're starting to establish, hey, we own this. This is our game now. You're coming from behind. We have the ability to stay ahead. We've fought through the initial aggressive state, the initial first phases, and we've won the battle essentially. We just have to bide our time. Interesting. Okay, so I think what he's decided is we are going to win. That's pretty much what he's decided here. So he's probably, and there it is. So that's how we. Okay, so although it did not complete all the way, you could see that either we were going to beat him down to 0 or we were going to get to 40 life, one or the other. Thanks for watching. There's some gameplay. If you got any more questions about the Inquisition deck, please don't hesitate to post in the comments below. Love hearing you guys' feedback. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you on the boards.
Ready.